Welcome back to Dynamics of Missionary class. We have completed our five modules, and today we will discuss our sixth module, which is entirely the continuation of your fifth module. The topic vibration. Okay. Here the syllabus consists of the topics whirling of shafts. What do you mean by critical speed? Free torsional vibration, self-excitation and stability analysis, vibration control, vibration isolation and vibration absorbers. Then after there will be some theory portion, introduction to multi-degree freedom system, how we will measure the vibration measurement and how accelerometer and seismometer and vibration exciters are working, and how the block diagram consists of what are the important terms and equipments consisting in this system. Let us see the last two question paper in December 2019 and May 2019. There are three questions. There will be three questions in your each question paper. 12th question in 2019 consists of to find out lowest whirling speed. So it's a point. The question coming under the topic whirling of shafts. Second question also under the topic whirling of speed, and the 14th question is a theory question. What do you understand by vibration pickups? Working diagram with the explain of working diagram of seismometer. Similarly, when I analyzed May 2019's question paper, natural frequency of torsional vibration. Now you can expect two problems from the two topics. One is whirling of shaft, another one is torsional vibration. Second question from whirling of speed of shaft. Third question also coming under natural frequency of torsional vibration. In this question paper, two questions from torsional vibration and one is from uh, whirling of speed. So entirely there will be problems are there in your question paper, no theory portion asked. Maybe 5% or 6% of theory question you can expect. So try to solve the problems. Okay. Let us see what do you mean by whirling of shaft. Whirling of shaft. When a rotor is mounted on the shaft, it has a center of mass does not coincide with the center of line of a shaft. If you considering a shaft having a length L, the geometrical axis will be same as the uh, axis of this shaft. But suppose if you are attaching any rotor or any motor with this shaft, the center of mass may not be coincide with the geometrical axis of the shaft. So suppose if you are this line will be your axis of shaft, and a rotor has a center of gravity or center of mass is another point. So mm, the equivalent center of mass will be in between those center of masses. So when the shaft rotates, it's subjected to a centrifugal force which makes a shaft bend the direction of eccentricity of center of mass. Suppose if the center of mass is at a distance from the geometrical axis, if it rotates, it is subjected to centrifugal force, and the magnitude will be mr omega square. Further increasing the eccentricity ends the centrifugal force. So suppose if you increase the speed, the eccentricity also increases. In this way, the effect of cumulative and ultimate shaft may even fail. ഈ സെന്റർ ഓഫ് മാസ് കാരണം ഇത് റൊട്ടേറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്ന സമയത്ത് ഇത് സ്പീഡ് മൂവ് ചെയ്യുന്നതിനനുസരിച്ചിട്ട് സെന്റർ ഓഫ് ഈ സെൻട്രിഫ്യൂഗൽ ഫോഴ്സിന്റെ മാഗ്നിറ്റ്യൂഡും ക്യുമുലേറ്റ് ആയിട്ട് ആഡ് ചെയ്തു വരും. അതുകൊണ്ട് ആ ഷാഫ്റ്റിന് ബ്രേക്കേജ് സംഭവിക്കാൻ പറ്റും. അതിനെയാണ് വേർളിംഗ് ഓഫ് ഷാഫ്റ്റ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. ദ ബെൻഡിങ് ഓഫ് ദ ഷാഫ്റ്റ് ഡിപ്പെൻഡ് അപ്പോൺ ദ എക്സെൻട്രിസിറ്റി ഓഫ് സെന്റർ ഓഫ് മാസ് ഓഫ് ദ റോട്ടർ ആൻഡ് ആൾസോ സ്പീഡ് ഓഫ് ദ ഷാഫ്റ്റ്. ഇറ്റ് ഡിപ്പെൻഡ്സ് അപ്പോൺ ടു ഫാക്ടേഴ്സ്. വൺ ഈസ് സ്പീഡ്, another one is eccentricity. There are two components of motion involved in this phenomena. One is spinning of the shaft along with the disc about the bend up shaft axis. Second one, rotation of shaft along with the disc about the center line of the bearing. Now, about two motion may not be takes place in the same speed or in the same direction. When the spinning of speed is equal to the rotation of shaft, it is known as synchronous whirl. Synchronous whirl. Both are equal. Synchronous whirl. Or critical or whirling or wiping speed of this is the speed at which the shaft tends to vibrate violently in the transverse direction. If the critical speedily instant run through the shaft again becomes almost straight. You can see here it is a figure which represent the axis of the shaft, and suppose this one is your rotor, and This G represents the center of gravity or center of mass. I is the moment of inertia, and here Y represent the deflection of the shaft, and E represent the eccentricity of the shaft. Okay, if you suppose you add both the deflection and eccentricity, you will get the total distance or total deflection from the center of mass to the axis. Okay, now figure, let us take as the S is the stiffness of the shaft, E is the eccentricity or center of mass of the rotor. If suppose this is the distance, Y plus E will be the effective length. So the radius, center of mass, the radius of center of mass, you can take it as Y plus E. That is the effective length. So you can write it as m r omega square. Here you can change the R instead of R, you can write it as Y plus E. Okay, so m is the mass of the rotor and y is the additional deflection of rotor due to centrifugal force, and omega is the angular velocity of shaft. Now you can write it as the centrifugal force is equal to m e plus y omega square, and restoring force we can represent it as kx, or the deflection into spring coefficient, the coefficient of spring, that is sy. For the equilibrium condition, you can equate both the equation 1 and 2. You can write it as sy is equal to my plus e plus omega square. You can close the bracket, my omega square plus me omega square should be equal to sy. If you take the same portion, that means same terms containing y is in left side and other terms in right side, you can rearrange this equation. You can write it as y is equal to me omega square divided by s minus m omega square. Here you can divide m omega square, both the numerator and denominator. You can rearrange this equation, e divided by e over s over m omega square minus 1. Here m omega square and m omega square get cancelled, and you know that that is s by m, which is known as the frequency of vibration. So omega n divided by omega square minus 1, the ultimate equation of deflection, you can write it as y is equal to e divided by omega n by omega square minus 1. Thus, when omega is equal to omega n, the deflection y is infinitely large, resonance will occur, and the speed of omega is called critical speed. If you take omega c is equal to omega n, you can write it as from your fundamental equation, that is equal to root k by m or root s by m, which is equal to root g by delta, or write it as 2 pi n c. Omega you can write it as 2 pi n. 2 pi n is a representation for omega. 2 pi n c is equal to root g by delta, or nc you can represent it as 1 by 2 pi root g by delta. You can substitute this value, numerical values, in the equation. Your final equation will be nc is equal to 0.4985 divided by root delta. The speed of shaft increases rapidly beyond the critical speed, omega greater than omega n, or omega n by omega is less than 1, or y is negative. This means that the shaft deflects in the opposite direction. As the speed of a continuous to increase, y approaches the value of negative e, or the center of mass of the rotor approaches the center line of rotation. This principle is used in the running of high-speed turbine by speed up the rotor rapidly beyond the critical speed. When y approaches the value of minus e, the rotor runs steadily. Now let us see some problems. Determine the critical speed of a shaft in the previous problem. The solution: critical speed of shaft revolution per second is equal to natural frequency of transverse vibration. So you can write it as omega is equal to 2 pi f or 2 pi n by 60, or here 2 pi ng, that is frequency is 2.85 hertz. Okay, you can substitute these hertz in value, you will get RPM, that is into 61.171 RPM. Next question: a rotor has a mass of 12 kg and mounted on the midway on the 24 mm diameter horizontal shaft supported at the ends by two bearings. The bearings are inverted. The shaft rotated at 2400 rpm if the center of mass of the rotor is 0.11 mm away from the geometric center of the rotor due to certain manufacturing defect. Find the amplitude of the steady state vibration and the dynamic force transmitted to the bearing. E is equal to 200 giganewton per meter square. Now let us see the solution. Assuming the bearing is to be solved so that the shaft can assume it to be simply supported. Let us given data as m is equal to 12 kg and the length is equal to 1 meter and diameter is equal to 0.024 meter and n is equal to 400 rpm. Eccentricity is 0.1 mm. and modulus of rigidity is 200 into 10 raised to 9 Newton per meter square. Suppose if you are taking the moment of inertia, that is equal to pi by 64 into d square, d raised to 4, you substitute the value of 0.024 in this equation, you will get 16.3 into 10 raised to minus 9 meter raised to 4. If you take the reflection delta is equal to, for a simply supported beam, mgl cube divided by 48 EI, the mid bay, that is L by 2, you just substitute that L by 2 there, you will get the equation mg L by 2 whole square into L by 2 whole square divided by 3 EI L. L and L square get cancelled, and then you will get L cube. So you will get the value A is equal to L by 2 or B is equal to L by 2, your delta will become 0.00752 meter. You can find it as a natural frequency root g by delta, and substitute this value, you will get 114.2 radian per second. Omega is equal to 2 by n by 60 for 2400, it will be 251.3 radian per second. Amplitude is equal to E by divided by omega n by omega whole square minus 1. This is your fundamental equation. You will get this minus 0.139 mm. And the negative sign indicate that the displacement out of phase with the centrifugal force, dynamic force of the bearing Ky is equal to m by omega n square. You will get 21.7 Newton. Total load on each bearing is equal to mg by 2 plus sy by 2, and that will become 69 Newton. Next question. The following data related to shaft head till the long bearing length of the shaft is 1.2 meter, diameter of shaft 14 meter, mass of the rotor at the midpoint is 16 kilogram, eccentricity of the center of the mass of the rotor from the center of rotor is 0.4 mm. Here given data are modulus of elasticity is equal to 200 giganewton. Permissible stress of the shaft material is 70 into 10 raised to 6 Newton per meter. Determine the critical speed of the shaft and the range of the speed over which it is unsafe and run its shaft. Assume the shaft to be massless. You first of all, for the solution, you can write the given data. M is equal to 16 kilogram, E is equal to 0.004 meter, L is equal to 1.2 meter, E is equal to 200 into 10 raised to 9 Newton per meter, diameter is equal to 0.014 meter, D is equal to 0.14 meter, and ultimately the stress is equal to 70 into 10 raised to 6 Newton per meter square. First case, as the shaft is held in the long bearing, it may be assumed to be a fixed at the both end. You can write it as the equation for the reflection, that will be equal to mg into L by 2 whole cube into L by 2 whole cube divided by 3 EI L cube. If you are substitute this value, you will get mg L cube divided by 190 EL. If you put all the values in the numerical values here, you will get the final answer 0.00375 meter. And the natural frequency, we can find it as Fn is equal to 1 by 2 pi root g by delta. Suppose if you got the delta, you can directly substitute this value, you will get 8.143 hertz. Critical speed of the shaft in RPS is equal to natural frequency of transverse vibration. Hence is equal to 8.14, or in RPM you can write it as 849 RPM. To find the range of speed, you can using the bending equation, m by I is m over I is equal to sigma over y. Here m is bending moment, sigma is bending stress, I is moment of inertia, y is d by 2 distance from neutral axis. For fixed and the moment formula, bending moment is equal to m is equal to W1L divided by 80. W1 is called additional dynamic load weight acting due to additional deflection, which is due to eccentricity. W1L by 8 divided by pi by 64 d raised to 4, sigma divided by d by 2, or if you substitute this value, you can find out the value of W1, that is 125.7 Newton. Additional deflection due to this load is y equal to W divided by W into delta. Your value will become y is equal to 0.003 meter. Also, additional deflection is equal to plus or minus omega c by omega whole square minus 1. Or omega you can represent as nc by n. Okay. Both the terms are equal. You can write it as n in 459 or otherwise 5 to 25. Both ranges are there. This range is unsafe speed is 459 to 525 RPM. Thank you. Next class, we will discuss the section 3, which will be our torsional vibration. Okay, thank you all of you.